Over the years, Family Guy has referenced countless movies, and in today's video, we're going to show you 50 movie references you may have missed. Number 1. In the pilot episode Death Has a Shadow, Peter watches the powerful 1993 drama Philadelphia in the theater. Peter tries to figure out where he's seen the film's star before and realizes that it's Tom Hanks from Big. Number 2. Also in Death Has a Shadow, Peter showed his friends a parody of the all-time Hollywood classic Casablanca, retitled Asablanca. Number 3. In Season 1, Episode 2, I Never Met the Dead Man, we see Peter as the size of a big blue ball and denying to Willy Wonka that he ate his candy in a parody of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Number 4. In Season 1, Episode 3, Chitty Chitty Death Bang, we get a cutaway gag of Peter struggling to keep up the dance moves with his fellow high school students. This parodies the dancing from the 1961 musical West Side Story. Number 5. In the Season 2 premiere, Peter Caviar Eater, Stewie sees a pair of twin girls in a hallway telling him to play with them forever and ever. This, of course, is a reference to the ghost of the Grady twins from Stanley Kubrick's iconic horror film, The Shining. Number 6. When Chris thinks the government has arrived to capture E.T. in Season 2, Episode 3, Da Boom, he tells the extraterrestrial to run away, with the same design and voice from Steven Spielberg's beloved film. Number 7. In Season 2, Episode 4, Brian in Love, we get a cutaway of Brian avoiding being captured by law enforcement officers in an homage to the 1976 sci-fi film Logan's Run. Number 8. In Season 2, Episode 7, The King is Dead, we have a gag of Stewie posing like Cameron Diaz on the poster for the 90s comedy There's Something About Mary. Then he reenacts the film's infamous scene of mistaking semen for hair gel. Number 9. There's a cutaway of Peter in Season 2, Episode 8, I Am Peter, Hear Me Roar, where he's caught in a net surrounded by apes, similar to a scene from the 1968 sci-fi classic Planet of the Apes. Number 10. In Season 2, Episode 13, Road to Rhode Island, when Brian and Stewie break out and sing Road to Rhode Island, they are actually paying homage to the 1942 Bob Hope and Bing Crosby musical Road to Morocco. Number 11. In Season 2, Episode 17, He's Too Sexy for His Fat, there's a parody of the heartbreaking 1957 Disney film Old Yeller, where this time the dog has to be taken out back due to failing to relay a message from a guy called Tony. Number 12. In Season 2, Episode 19, The Story of Page 1, Family Guy references two beloved films in one clip. First, we see Peter from his high school years drive the Ectomobile and wear the same Ghostbusters uniform used in Ghostbusters. Number 13. Then teenage Peter breaks into an apartment where the iconic pottery scene from Ghost is occurring. He sucks the titular ghost into the Ghostbuster proton pack, then tells his shocked girlfriend that the price will be $27.50. Number 14. In Season 3, Episode 4, One If by Clam, Two If by Sea, we see Peter racing his old friend Eric in a parody of the 1982 Disney cult classic Tron. Eric tricks Peter into crashing and he loses the race. Number 15. In Season 3, Episode 13, Screwed the Pooch, a cutaway gag shows a couple renting Orson Welles' Citizen Kane, but Peter taped over the film, spoiling the ending that Rosebud was his childhood sled the whole time, saving them from 2 boobless hours. Number 16. In Season 6, Episode 6, Padre de Familia, Peter calls illegal immigrants part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take him away. This is what Darth Vader said to Princess Leia in the beginning of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Number 17. In Season 4, Episode 19, Brian sings and swings. Meg sees Chris in the bathroom and his hat and hair lowered onto his head the same way Darth Vader's helmet was applied in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Number 18. And in Season 4, Episode 24, Peterotica, Carter sends attorney Scott Greenberg underground to battle the Rancor and defeat it the same way Luke Skywalker did in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Number 19. The Season 4 premiere North by North Quahog makes plenty of references to Alfred Hitchcock's classic 1959 thriller North by Northwest. Famous scenes from the film were parodied, including the plane chase and the Mount Rushmore climax. Number 20. In Season 4, Episode 7, Brian the Bachelor, we see Mort toss a pot of coffee on Peter, with Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High thinking it was totally awesome, parodying the end of the 80s comedy. Number 21. In Season 4, Episode 9, Breaking Out is Hard to Do, there's a parody of Martin Scorsese's period drama The Age of Innocence, where Daniel Day-Lewis tells the film crew that Winona Ryder is an awful actress. Number 22. When Quagmire first meets Peter's maid Joan in Season 4, Episode 21, I Take Thee Quagmire, he imagines talking to her in Elvish language that parodies Aragorn and Arwen's romantic scene in The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Number 23. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, in Season 4, Episode 26, Petergeist, Herbert fights an evil tree in an homage to Gandalf the Grey fighting the Balrog in both The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and The Two Towers. Number 24, and then in Season 9, Episode 15, Brothers and Sisters, Peter calls for the lighting of the beacons in a reenactment of the beacon scene from The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Number 25, at the end of Season 4, Episode 5, The Cleveland-Loretta Quagmire, Glenn and Cleveland have a friendly boxing match in private, just as Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed did at the end of Rocky III. Number 26, in Season 4, Episode 15, Brian goes back to college. Brian Griffin works out outside a log cabin at a ski resort, climbing a mountain and yelling "Drago," just as Rocky Balboa does in Rocky IV. Number 27, in Season 4, Episode 13, Jungle Love, Adam West paddles Chris in a parody of the paddle scene from the 1993 comedy Dazed and Confused. Number 28, the intro to Season 4, Episode 14, PTV, parodies the intro to The Naked Gun from The Files of Police Squad. Instead of Leslie Nelson's Frank Drebin driving his police car through random places, it's Stewie driving his tricycle. Number 29. In Season 2, Episode 14, Let's Go to the Hop, Peter impersonates John Bender's iconic fist pump on the football field at the end of The Breakfast Club to the song Don't You Forget About Me. Number 30. In Season 4, Episode 16, The Courtship of Stewie's Father, Herbert sings the song Somewhere That's Green, pretending to be Audrey from the 1986 musical Little Shop of Horrors. Number 31. In Season 5, Episode 1, Stewie loves Lois. When Peter thinks that receiving a prostate exam from Dr. Hartman is sexual assaults, his version of the events while on trial actually references the 1988 Jodie Foster drama The Accused. Number 32. In Season 5, Episode 6, Prick Up Your Ears, Stewie freaks out over the Tooth Fairy and is consoled by a line of people actually waiting to beat him up. This is a parody of a hilarious scene from the legendary comedy Airplane. Number 33. In Season 5, Episode 9, Road to Rupert, Stewie gives his teddy bear a funeral in the same way Captain Kirk did for Spock at the end of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Number 34. Also in Season 5, Episode 9, Road to Rupert, Stewie has an extended dance scene with Gene Kelly from the 1945 movie Anchors Aweigh. Stewie is actually taking the place of Jerry from Tom and Jerry in the film. Number 35. In Season 5, Episode 11, The Tan Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Brian is given a copy of the groundbreaking 2005 drama Brokeback Mountain. Only this version of the movie is told from the perspective of the horses. Number 36. Also in The Tan Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Stewie visits the Art Institute of Chicago and stares at the A Sunday on La Grande Jatte painting the same way Cameron Fry does in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Number 37. In Season 5, Episode 15, Boys Do Cry, Chris borrows a pair of George W. Bush's underwear and shows it to his classmates in the boys' bathroom, just like the scene from John Hughes' coming-of-age film, 16 Candles. Number 38. In Season 5, Episode 16, No Chris Left Behind, we have a cutaway gag of William Wallace finishing the famous speech from Braveheart. Just as the Scottish army is ready to fight, Stewie comes in with his own, less exhilarating speech. Number 39. When 18-year-old Lois enters the pool area in Season 5, Episode 18, Meet the Quagmires, it parodies a scene of a hot bombshell entering the pool with all the guys staring at her from the comedy classic Caddyshack. Number 40. When Brian and Stewie destroy Peter's record of Surfin' Bird in Season 2, Episode 17, I Dream of Jesus, they destroy it in a parody of Mike Judge's popular 1999 comedy Office Space when a printer is destroyed outdoors. Number 41. When a bunch of police cars crash on a German submarine in Season 7, Episode 3, Road to Germany, it's a reference to the massive police car crash from the beloved John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd comedy The Blues Brothers. Number 42. Also in Road to Germany is Stewie telling Brian and Mort, "We are not sinking, we're crashing," before jumping off the plane on a raft. This is a scene-for-scene imitation of the 1984 blockbuster Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Number 43. In Season 7, Episode 4, Baby Not on Board, Peter talks to Lois with the exact same speech and music that John Candy's character Del Griffin does from the beloved comedy Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Number 44. In Season 7, Episode 8, Family Gay, Peter is at straight camp performing The French Mistake in the same style as the performance in Mel Brooks's highly influential comedy Blazing Saddles. Number 45. In Season 7, Episode 13, Steroids, the school sees a private video of Chris dancing in a parody of Buffalo Bill's dance from The Silence of the Lambs. Chris was the perfect character to impersonate Buffalo Bill, since Seth Green's voice of Chris was inspired by that character. Number 46. In Season 11, Episode 10, Brian's Play, they parody a famous scene from the 1984 Oscar-winning film Amadeus, where Mozart mocks Salieri. This has Stewie in the role of Mozart and Peter as Salieri. Number 47. In Season 16, Episode 6, Chris and Meg fight everyone in the school cafeteria to the song Freebird in an homage to the big fight scene from Kingsman. Number 48. Going back to Season 7, Episode 3, Road to Germany, Stewie parodies a famous scene from the iconic first Back to the Future movie by using the bottom of a wooden vegetable cart as a skateboard to evade the Nazis. Number 49. At the end of Season 8, Episode 20, Something 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 Dark Side, we get a parody of Back to the Future 2, where Marty receives a letter from an anonymous person informing him that Doc is alive and living in 1885. Number 50. In Season 17, Episode 17, Island Adventure, Quagmire gets stuck in a drain and is dressed up as Pennywise in reference of the movie It.